that's going. Yeah, that's also going. Hi. Sorry, I'm like dropping stuff left, right, and center. It's awful. Hi. Hi. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's already Saturday. I feel like I blinked. Do not know where I am. Hi. It's going. It's going. So, we're just gonna... I almost knocked that sideways. So, we're just gonna like jump on into it because we are officially kicking into the minor arcana now, which is really exciting. Also a little stressful. I find the minor arcana tends to be the one people really struggle with a lot, which makes sense. It's a lot of cards and the imagery is a bit more unforgiving and it involves a lot more numerology and, you know, there's no hint in the name, right? Like you can hear the high priestess and be like, oh, spirituality. That makes sense. You might not get all the deeper nuance in there, but you're going to get like, you know, the basics, like the bare bones. But like Ace of Cups, the hell's that? Like, you know? So it's fair if it kind of throws us off a little bit, especially in the very beginning. So we're just going to start breaking down into the aces. Now, very similar to what do I do with all of these swords? So kind of like what I said last time, we're gonna go into, sorry, I don't mean to freak anybody out whenever I scratch my eyeball. I'm not trying to like wig you. I promise my nail is not going into my eyeball. I'm right on the corner. But I realize how that looks on camera and so like I was saying, kind of what we talked about last class, the ace, which is the one, you know, we're calling it the ace. The ace is pioneering, leading, new opportunities, and dominance, the original of something. That's kind of what we see in the aces. It's also really important to remember that the one in Major Arcana, what am I saying? That the one in numerology, we talked about with, let me flip on back. We talked about number 1 in numerology with the magician, and that is the same for the aces. So number 1 is, you know, new beginnings and opportunities, and like I said, pioneering, leading, dominance. That's all the things we kind of see in the 1. Now, kind of like what I said last time, you can take your knowledge of whatever number you're on and then apply it to whatever suit you're in, and that can kind of help you start to figure it out. So the cups, like we talked about last time, are ruled by the element of water. They're the western direction because water is the western element. In the cups we see the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces zodiac signs. You know, the cups are all about emotion, intuition, and interpersonal relationships. So taking that into account, we could assume that the Ace of Cups is going to be about pioneering or new, or, you know, like new opportunities or new beginnings, probably related to our feelings or our relationships, maybe a friendship, maybe a romantic relationship, maybe, you know, we go on like a new thing for ourselves. That's kind of what we can all, that's kind of what we can all expect to see in something like that. Or, you know, the Pentacles, which is our money, our career, our success, our school, our health. The Ace of Pentacles, we can assume, is a new opportunity, maybe with our money. Maybe it's something with our health, maybe school. You know, again, we can kind of start to piece it together, even if we're not 100% certain on what the card means in the first place. So as much as the minor arcana can be really intimidating, if you just break it down into the numerology and into what suit you're in, that's going to make it a lot easier for you to kind of navigate it. Now, we're going to make our way through the aces. Maybe we'll get to the 2s. Maybe we'll get to the 3s. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So the Ace of Cups, right off the bat, if you're looking at like a yes or a no type of situation, Ace of Cups is a big, oh God, I'm dropping everything. Ace of Cups is a big fat yes. Now, the symbolism on the card, I find the aces once you kind of know what it's all about, pretty easy to figure out. But in the very, very, very beginning, I remember the aces were a card that I struggled with in the beginning. Because again, there's not a whole lot to work with. I was a very visual person. I really worked with the images on the card, and that was really what kind of helped me get used to it and learn it. And I found the lack of imagery on the aces kind of frustrating. So don't be discouraged if, again, the lack of imagery makes it a little hard. We're going to work with what we have. We're going to break it down, and we're just kind of going to go from there. So this is the Ace of Cups. See what I mean? Not a whole lot of imagery, a little hard to work with. Definitely what I find kind of hard to dissect is probably the best way to put it. So breaking down this card and how it works. Obviously, we see all of this here, all this water. This is all the subconscious mind. Water 9 times out of 10 is going to kind of represent that. We see out of the cup are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 streams of water kind of flowing over and out and overpouring. This is meant to represent the 5 senses, the 5 elements. We're kind of picking up the 5th element is spirit, just in case, because sometimes, we don't talk about the 5th element. This is, the 5 like magical elements. We go into our 5 senses. This helps us connect our emotions back into our body. Also, we kind of see an abundance of intuition, right? Our cup quite literally runneth over. That's kind of what we tend to see in this card. The hand that's delivering it, because it's quite literally coming out of the sky, this is meant to show an awareness of spiritual influence. So, right, this isn't just being given to us by a person, right? I mean, it's a magical floating hand coming out of the sky and giving us a cup. Like, we can very much see almost like divine intervention in that. And finally, the dove that's all the way up there represents divine love and the fact that it's going into the cup. Because again, remember, the cup is our subconscious. So the dove is going from our conscious, which is like outside of the cup, into the cup. It's going into the subconscious. So when you get this card upright, it's kind of nothing but good news. We see emotional beginnings, happiness, love, intimacy, the arrival of new feelings, usually like a burst of creativity. It's very, not to sound terribly mushy, but it's very like divine love flowing into you and out of you. Like, it's, those times when you're having such a good day that you just have to like share it with other people. It's kind of that energy. That's usually what we see in this card. You're giving and receiving with this. Usually whenever we get this card in reverse, upright, we're being called to open our heart. So, and you'll see me get into this with all of the aces. We have to take what is being offered to us. This won't just be kind of like dropped down and given to us. It's going to get offered, but we need to actually put movement into the thing. We need to grab it and go for it. A lot of the times, as much as it does kind of come out of thin air, it doesn't come without work. It doesn't come without effort. If you want a new relationship, but you are not doing the online dating thing, you're not going out, you're not trying to meet people, you're not putting yourself out there, you're not making attempts to meet new people, you're not going to meet anybody. What do you want me to say? The universe isn't going to make someone like magically teleport into your apartment and be like, oh, hey, like that's not what's going to happen. With my Ace of Cups, the universe is more than happy to give it to you, but you have to put yourself in the situation where you can actually have the opportunity be given. I say this all the time, but like even in like spell work, right? There is no spell to make you get skinny. That's not how that works. Or like there is no spell to make you get rich. There is no spell to, if that was the case, we would all be multi-million size zeros, right? But that ain't how that shit works. With time and effort on your part, can a spell maybe speed up the results of your hard work? Absolutely. Can a spell maybe open some doors that maybe might not have opened to you before? Absolutely. But you gotta already be in the house for those doors to open. It's not the front door, man. Like, if you're looking for greater opportunities and greater growth, you gotta be in the position to get those things. Like, the universe would love to give you these opportunities, but you have to put yourself in the line of fire of them. So that's going to be really important with this card when we get it upright. Also, always, please be careful and practice discretion, and keep in mind that the tarot cards are not a tool for diagnosing things. But tarot, when it comes to the Ace of Cups, can suggest babies. Again, know that is not always the case. If somebody comes to you and they're asking you, am I pregnant? Am I gonna have a baby? 1, tell them to take a pregnancy test. And 2, or am I gonna have a baby? Start pulling. If you see the Ace of Cups, look for other cards. Don't just go, yeah, because now you're gonna set someone up to possibly get their heart broken, and that's cruel. Make sure that the rest of your cards are encouraging that. I've been doing this for like almost 2 decades now at this point, and I very, very, very rarely have I confirmed any type of pregnancies. I have when it's very loud and clear, but like other than that, be careful, guys. But just know that the Ace of Cups can suggest conception, pregnancy, birth, any of those things. Like if your friend is really far along and let's say the baby's taken a while to come out and they just want to know, is the baby coming soon? The Ace of Cups is probably a good sign. It's probably a yeah. But again, pay attention to other cards. So always use the surrounding cards. And again, always please practice some freaking discretion and some common sense. Now, when this card is in reverse, we see self-love, intuition, and repressed emotions. It is time usually to bring your love inward. This love that you've been giving and handing out and pouring out to people, it's time for it to come this way. It's time for you to focus on that a little bit more. Look at it. When it's in reverse, our cup is literally just emptying and emptying and emptying, and it has no opportunity to fill itself. It's just like dumping. And I usually tend to find this, when this card's in reverse, we're seeing balance issues between caring for others and caring for ourselves. Oh, there it is. Now, did I really go straight into the wands? That's so weird of me. Okay. We're going to move on to the wands. Usually I don't do the wands next. Usually I do the wands last. That's so strange of me. Ace of Wands. Now, same thing. Yes or no? Ace of Wands is a big, big, big yes. Obviously, very similar symbolism. Are we seeing a pattern? Are we seeing a pattern here? So obviously, moving on to my Ace of Wands, we see a hand extending this wand that is sprouting greenery. This is meant to show new opportunities that will grow into other bigger, better things. The greenery, it also shows all of the capacity for all the different ways this can take you. I mean, look at all these different paths, right? We have 1, 2, 3. So this is all the different ways that this opportunity that starts just as this can turn into this, or this, or this, or maybe all of it. That's what we kind of see here. The far off castle, oh my God, sorry. The far off castle here in the back, this is meant to show future opportunities, things that are kind of waiting. The hills and mountains that kind of are over the castle and around it. This is all a sign of, while there's these opportunities here, there's also going to be challenge, but with effort, it's totally doable. Like, it is completely, completely doable. Now, when you get this card upright, what we see is starting action. So, the very beginning of something. We see movement. We see excitement. And we see creativity and growth. This is a sudden, inspired, creative force. This is, that light bulb moment, that aha moment that kind of comes in. All possibilities are in reach. I can't even tell you how good this card is in a reading. This is everybody, you always want to see this card in a reading. We tend to see, again, we're inspired, we're energized, we're like ready to go. We have all this like oomph behind us about, what we're kind of focused on. This is your gentle nudge to get started. And not to sound really cheesy, but it's a very like, follow your heart, live your passions, start doing these things, open that like little Etsy store, do these things you were looking at. Start taking up your dream job, even if it's just a side hustle, like start it, even if you just do it for fun and don't make any money, start it. Like not everything needs to be capitalistically productive. You're allowed to just enjoy things. Like, go into it. You will watch it grow and build and expand and keep just kind of going and going and going. This is the card that, helps you live your dreams, helps you do the things that you are, that light you up inside. And they kind of open you to be able to continue to do it, possibly even as a career. This is your gentle nudge, like I said, to, start getting started. The Ace of Wands isn't super intense, but it is like, hey, take this opportunity now. Stop going, oh, I want to be an artist. Oh, I wish I was an artist. Oh, but I can't do it. Oh, but it's not a real job. Oh. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out right now. Stop it. Start. Do it. Who cares if you don't make any money? Do it. And again, you'll watch it grow. It's one of those things where, you have to be prudent. It promises that the universe is not going to wait for you. And, again, you got to start, busting your ass towards it. Obviously, I don't care. Look, we all got to work, right? We all got bills to pay. So I don't care. Maybe you only have 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week, 5 minutes a month to, do this thing that you're passionate about. Do it. Who cares? Do it. It is time well spent. And it is something that you deserve to allow for yourself. Also, what we tend to see with this card a lot, you gotta bust your ass, usually, with the Ace of Wands. It promises potential. It does not promise results. You gotta get that shit done on your own. If you want results, that's up to you. I joke all the time, that's between you and God. That is between you and God. It's just, but the opportunity's there. If I get it all the time. I have people who are like, oh, I really relationships. They'll be like, oh, I really want a relationship. And I might get the Ace of Wands, maybe the Ace of Cups, maybe some good stuff there. And I'll be like, look, the universe is going to introduce you to somebody and it has the potential to go really, really well. If you fumble the bag, bro. That's on you. The universe sets you up. It's up to you to, insert sports reference here. Slam dunk, get the goal, whatever. Again, the universe sets you up. It's your job to kind of finish it, take it all the way there. Now, when this card is in reverse, we see a lack of direction. We see delays. We see feeling or being unsure of how to manifest our ideas and get this stuff done. And we see really struggling with our purpose. It's something we got to focus on our true passions. That's really what we got to do right now. Take time to ask what you aspire to and what you want to achieve out of whatever situation you are in life. There may be delays or frustrations coming. Also, again, gonna level with people. Sometimes, shit kind of gets in the way. It's really important to have patience. Just kind of keep on trucking, It's really important to keep in mind that when we have delays and when stuff kind of happens, that is not always a no. Sometimes it's a not right now, and pay attention to that. I tried to do tarot reading on my own for a little bit, and I was young and I didn't have a whole lot of discipline, and it was a lot of crap like that. But I was like, oh, I'm not cut out for this and this type of job. Oh, damn it. And the truth of it was, no, I just needed a little bit more guidance and a little bit of people who could help me get what I need done. And that's what I needed. So when I tried it the first time, it wasn't the universe telling me no. It was telling me not right now, not in this place, and not this way. And that's kind of what the Ace of Wands can be sometimes. When am I in the shop for readings? Right now. I am here Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are the days I'm here. So you can catch me most days of the week, 4 days of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday are my days off. Those are the days I'm not here. So poke in at any time. I also do virtuals, so I can always call people. I had a lot of virtuals today. So I can also always call people if like you can't come in or you're busy or you're not from Long Island. So let me flip my page. Ace of Pentacles. Get over here, you. Ace of Pentacles. Yes or no? Yes. Kind of seeing a trend here. All of the aces are yeses. So no matter what ace you get, if you're doing a yes or no reading, it's always a yes. It's just kind of going to focus it on what's the word? It's going to focus it on different things. So it depends on what that yes is for or like what kind of yes it is, but it's always a yes. So the symbolism. I'm going to sound like a broken record. This whole class. So symbolism. Again, a hand appearing out of nowhere, offering a thing. In this case, it's a coin. This is meant to show new opportunities. Surprise, surprise. It's usually being extended and it's asking you to turn it into something sustainable. Take this one coin and make it into a million more type of deal. And we see this lush, beautiful landscape in the background. This is meant to show that the time is now to move forward. Quite literally, like it's ripe, Good time for you to kind of move forward. As always, we got some mountains in the background. It's not going to be easy. That's kind of the whole point. But you will be called to make the most of this. So great opportunities, great forward advancements, great things for us. Just, again, they require determination and action. And the page of coins, the Ace of Pentacles, I say all the time, it's like a snowball. It just goes and goes and goes and builds and builds and builds. And that's kind of what the Ace of Pentacles tends to be. So, take this opportunity, turn it into something bigger. You might get maybe a new job or you might get a new task. Turn that into like a whole thing. Make your damn money. Get it done. And that's always what we tend to find with the Ace of Pentacles, I pulled the Ace of Pentacles for myself when I first started working here. And, I went from 2 days a week to 4 days a week. I started teaching classes. I started doing rituals. I started selling things in the store. It was like this one coin that just rolled and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's kind of what you're supposed to do with the Ace of Pentacles. So it's a great opportunity. Sometimes it feels small in the beginning. Sometimes when this opportunity is given to us, it's a little tiny and it's a little stressful and a little frustrating or nerve-wracking to kind of do it. But again, it will roll and grow into something bigger if you give it time and attention and energy. It's kind of guaranteed to work out. Again, when I first, like I said, got the Ace of Pentacles for this job. When I first started, I was 2 days a week. I was 24 years old who had just bought a house and was working 2 days a week. That was stressful. And a lot of people didn't think it was a good idea. And I was like, look, let me see where this goes. Let me see if I can make this a thing. And if I can, awesome. If I can't, at least I tried. And I made it a thing. Obviously, my bills are paid. I'm comfortable. I'm doing good. Because it grew into something bigger. So that's kind of what you need to keep in mind with the 4 coins. Just let it kind of do what it's going to do. So upright, we see financial new beginnings. We see money, investments, abundance, new jobs, opportunities to, oh my God, I'm getting the hiccups. Opportunities to manifest are career and school aspirations. Also, we tend to see physical health improvements. So if somebody's been sick or if somebody's been kind of dealing with some shit, Ace of Pentacles shows they are probably going to get a break. If they're, at best, they're going to get better. At, absolute worst, they're going to feel better. So good signs all around. It is promised prosperity. This is a green light. If you have been planning on a new business venture or a new thing, if you get the Ace of Pentacles, oh my God, do it. Like, take the damn thing and go. Like, that's always the biggest advice with the Ace of Pentacles. You know, not to sound cheesy, but it's very like, the world is your oyster. Like, that's quite literally what it kind of tends to promise us. And honestly, through determination and planning, this can absolutely happen. Whatever you want to see get done can absolutely get done. You just need to map it out, have a plan of attack, and then go do that plan of attack. And you're going to watch it just kind of unfold and start working out for you. So I love the Ace of Pentacles. It's such a good card. It's so like, back crack. It's so positive and happy. Like, it's such a good card. Now, moving on to when you get this card in reverse. Now, in reverse, we see lost opportunities, unfortunately. And this is usually due to poor planning or a lack of foresight. We also tend to see second guessing a lot of our opportunities and, you know, wondering if they're actually going to work or if we can actually do them or anything like that. A lot of times when we get this card in reverse, we're being called to do our due diligence and to see if the opportunities being offered to us are actually like for us. You know, that's something that's really important. This is very much a card that's going to encourage you not to count your chickens before they hatch. So very much like, you know, don't be excited, but be smart, you know, use your head. People can retract offers. That's really important to keep in mind with this card. And a lot of us forget that. You know, a lot of us like get what we think is something that we're set, and then we can just sit back and relax and not really do a damn thing about it. And that is not the case. Like, you know, you might have gotten a job and you might have been the star employee and people might love you and think you're wonderful, but that is probably because of the work that you are doing. And if you stop doing the work, people can rescind. And a lot of times people forget that. And, you know, they think, oh, but I did the thing to earn this, so now I can stop. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. You did the thing to earn this, and now you need to keep doing that thing, you know? Otherwise, we're going to question why you still have this thing that you earned, but you are not earning your right to keep it. And that's kind of how this card works in reverse. You know, like, don't get lazy. Don't stop planning. Don't use proper, you know, don't forget your foresight. Like, don't get too comfortable. Don't get so comfortable that it makes you careless. And, you know, I think that's true for anything, you know, whether it's a job or a relationship or our body. Don't get too comfortable. Like, you know, if it's a relationship, don't sit there and go, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Always be putting in effort. Never get like lazy in that. You should be comfortable in your relationship, but you know what I mean, not the bad comfortable. Same thing with your body. You know, I know one of my friends had this. He was in such amazing shape naturally his whole teenage years because he was a teenage boy with a teenage boy's, you know, metabolism. He could eat like 7 Big Macs and not gain a pound because he was a teenage boy with a teenage boy's metabolism. He just I joked there was a furnace in his gut. He just burned through it. Well, all of us are between 27 and 30 now, and that's not old, but it is not 16, and it can't be doing that shit no more. And he hasn't realized, and he'll eat and then feel so bad, and he's like, oh my god, I'm dying. And I'm like, yeah, no wonder, dude, you just ate like a lot of junk food. Your body isn't happy with you right now. And he's like, I never felt this bad after eating it. But I'm like, yeah, you were 16, you burned right through it. He's doing it with hangovers too. We used to party in college, and he would never get hungover. He would, like, down a 6-pack and be fine. Now he has 3 beers and he can barely function in the morning. And he's like, what's happening? And I'm like, dude, you're 29. Like, your body's changing. It's fine. Like, you just can't do what you did when you were 19. It's been 10 years. Of course he can't drink like that anymore. And he's like confused, and he's not like listening to his body, and he keeps trying to drink like that, and he keeps getting sick and feeling like awful. And I'm like, yeah, dude, get with the program, buddy. Like, you need to kind of realize that things are changing, and you need to let yourself grow. Stop being so stuck in your body at 19. You're not 19 anymore. Let it grow and change. That's okay. It's the same thing. Don't get too comfortable. Things are going to move. You're not supposed to just get lazy. There might be a time when you can coast and not do work, and that's okay. But like, you got to get back up and keep doing the work eventually. So when this card's in reverse, check yourself. Again, are you living in the past and refusing to adapt? Are you getting comfortable and that comfortability is making you a little lazy? Like, what's happening here? Now, be smart with your money also with this card, because in some situations, when it's in reverse, the coin is quite literally falling out of the hand, right? So please be smart with your money, or you're going to start watching it quite literally go slipping out of your fingers. So it's really going to call for, again, financial responsibility, let me move you a little closer. Like I said, for financial responsibility, for you to not be, overworking yourself so intensely. And also, it's a weird mix, because usually sometimes we're also overworking. So again, don't overwork, but also don't overspend. Like, find your balance. Rethink your approach a lot of the times when you get this card. Because whatever your next move is, it is not thought out, and you need to stop and slow down. Because you're going to trip, and you're going to get yourself hurt, and you're going to feel stupid. Okay, last one. Ace of Swords. So, yes or no? Just like I said, it's a yes. Again, we see the consistencies here. Symbolism for this card. Again, we see the hand. Again, divine intervention, right? Coming out here. This is inspiring the mind, because that's the whole thing about the swords. The swords are the mind. The swords are how we communicate, how we think, all of those things. So this is like divine inspiration up here. Also, we see quite literally a crown of success and victory kind of up here. So what this is all meant to tell is kind of like a story, is the clarity and the understanding and the insight and the inspiration that the hand brings to the sword ultimately leads to success. Now, just like always, there's mountains. That's going to be challenges and demand, and you're going to have to be resilient if you want to move through this. So upright, what we see in this card, we see ideas, inspiration, mental clarity, new beginnings, the truth, especially the truth coming out. We see assertiveness. We see clarity in outside situations too, not just up here. Breakthroughs, aha moments, sudden understandings. This is literally like the light bulb kind of going off in your head. If something's been bugging you, again, this is going to bring clarity. I'm going to level with you. It's not always nice clarity. The swords are very, very brutally honest. So it is not always fun clarity. I remember one time, a good Ace of Swords moment is I remember being in college and hanging out with a bunch of my friends, and we were having a wonderful time. Nothing bad was happening. We were all laughing together and just hanging out. And it came over me like a wave. And it was just, all of you are really shitty friends. And none of you would come through for me in the way that I come through for you all the time. And it just like washed over me. And I was like, wow, cool. Ouch. What do I do with this information? But that's kind of what an Ace of Swords is. It's the universe flicking on a light bulb that you need. It's not always nice. It's not always fun. We've all had those moments, whether it's a relationship or a friendship or a job, where the final like, oh, this is done. this is done. I'm going to have to let this go, or transition, or move on, or set a boundary or something, but this is done. And that's kind of that aha moment. So it's not always fun. Sometimes it's bright, inspired, creative inspiration. Sometimes it's like an incredible idea. Other times it's a painful truth. So it's not always the easiest card in the world to kind of work with. Usually, if I get this card and if this person hasn't had that aha moment yet, I'm going to tell them to go meditate. I'm going to tell them to clear out any mental chatter, to kind of isolate, to kind of boot out some other opinions that like would kind of just muddy the waters right now. Now is the perfect time to start a project or to move forward. Now is an incredible time to start building communication, to reopen communication pathways. You know, if you're finding that a relationship is having a hard time or it's getting stressful and you pull this card, now's the time to talk about it. Like, now you should be opening your mouths. It is a promise of power. It is also the reminder of responsibility, and it is the pursuit of truth. It could be any of those things. It could be all three of those things. It could be any combination of it. So again, use your surrounding cards when you get the Ace of Swords in your reading. Now, in reverse, we see rethinking a situation, like walking something back almost. Inner clarity. So instead of understanding something about a situation, understanding something about ourselves, or maybe having like a memory that we've repressed kind of come back up. We see a lack of communication. We see misinformation, and a lot of it, unfortunately. Sometimes intentional. Use your surrounding cards to tell you if this is, like, again, intentional misinformation. We see rigidity, like refusing to compromise or bend or talk. And a whole hell of a lot of confusion. Sometimes with this card, when it's feeling very innocent, when this card isn't being kind of intense, maybe you've had a breakthrough, but you're just not ready to share it yet. That's okay. No matter what, again, when it's in reverse, I'm going to tell somebody to meditate. I'm going to tell them to sit, to check in with themselves, to try to get that clarity, whether it's, you know, when it's upright, I'm telling them to get that external clarity. When it's in reverse, I'm telling them to get that inner clarity. Take the time to find the best way forward. Ask your higher self, connect with your inner child, check in, you know, figure out what needs to be done. Go back to the drawing board, basically, when this card comes around. I don't care how long you've been working on whatever the plan is. It's obviously not working. So again, get your ass back to the drawing board. Also, speak plainly. Say what you want. This is not a beat around the bush moment, for God's sakes. Do not be subtle. Just level with people. You know, I tell people, I was just telling a client not that long ago about a new relationship kind of coming up. And one of the things I told them, I was like, go into this relationship, and it's going to, I said, I was like, I'm going to make this sound like a business meeting, and I don't mean to, but just kind of level with each other. Go in there and be like, hey, this is what I want out of a partner. These are the things I can compromise on. These are the things I cannot compromise on. If you tell me you can do these things and you don't do them, or you stop doing them, I'm gone. These are my expectations. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And it might sound obvious, but it's obvious to you, not to everybody else. Everybody likes to be loved differently. So don't do the whole, of course I want flowers. Everybody wants flowers. No, they don't. No, they don't. I couldn't give a shit about flowers. No, they don't. Like, everybody's different. Unless, like, I care about flowers because you're giving me a gift, and I find that really sweet. That could be flowers. That could be a chocolate bar. That could be whatever. But, like, I don't give a shit about flowers. Everybody's different. I care about a different type of love. I care about gift giving and acts of service and quality time. That's what's important to me. And that's not obvious unless I tell you. Everybody's different. You know, some people, I heard my friend with her boyfriend not that long ago, you know, she kept trying to hold his hand, and he was okay with it, but he was just surprised because she was doing it a lot, because he's not touchy, she is. And she was like, of course I want to hold your hand. What person doesn't want to hold the person they love's hand? And he's like, I don't like touching. I I just want to be in your presence and I want to spend time with you, but I don't like touching. And that's okay, you know? But if they had sat there at the very beginning of the relationship and leveled, and if she went, hey, I'm really touchy, and if he went, hey, I'm really not touchy, they would have avoided that argument, because she's sitting here going, he's not touching me because he doesn't love me. And no, he loves her very much. He just shows it in other ways and he just doesn't like touching. So, but if they had talked about it, that probably would have never hurt her feelings. She would have been like, oh, I know why he's not being touchy. That's just not his thing. And she would have known how to spot the ways he was loving her instead of just feeling denied and getting frustrated. You know, so say what you want, say what you mean. If you don't open your mouth, it's nobody's fault but yours if that need doesn't get met. It's not. Like, look, should people know and should people do it? Probably, depending on the need. Probably. But if you don't open your mouth, it's your fault if that shit doesn't happen. If you are a grown adult with the ability to communicate the things you want and the things you don't want, your fault. Obviously, situations where you're being manipulated or gaslit or you're under coercion are not the same thing. But, like, if I wanted flowers, like, if I want let's say I want flowers every week. Let's say that's what would make me feel loved. If I don't open my mouth, it is my fault if I go the rest of my life never getting flowers every week. That's my fault. I should say something. I should ask. If the people around me don't want to do that, that's a red flag. That's a them problem. I should go find someone who wants to get me flowers once a week. But if I don't ask, I can't bitch that it's not happening. And that's the lesson that the Ace of Swords is. You gotta communicate. You can't expect people to read your mind. You gotta ask for what you want. Don't sit there and be like, oh, well, it would be nice to get flowers once in a while. If you want flowers once a week, tell them. If they can't do it, that's a them problem. Tell them. Because guess what? If you go, oh, well, getting flowers sometimes would be nice, and then they buy you flowers like once in a blue moon, you're going to get mad because you're still not getting what you want. So open your mouth and ask for what you want. Again, it is scary to do that sometimes because it's scary to put the ball in somebody's court, because what if they don't hit it back? Well, if they don't hit it back, they're gone. And if you can't trust that they're going to hit it back, why are you entertaining this person? Do you know how many people come in here and ask me for like a spell that will get them to text somebody back? And I'm like, why do you want to talk to somebody that has made it clear that they don't want to talk to you? People are allowed to not want to talk to you. Why do you want somebody that don't want to talk to you? Or why do you want somebody that you have to make talk to you? Get somebody who is so obsessed with you that all they want to do is talk to you. Stop wasting your time and stop devaluing your worth. There is somebody out there who is going to need to have to be physically restrained to stop talking to you. I promise, there's somebody out there who's going to have to sit on their hands to avoid texting you. I promise. So why are you bending your back out of shape for somebody that you have to beg or make? No, absolutely not. We are grown adults. We don't do that. No, that's high school shit. No. Like, make sure that you are valuing yourself. Make sure that you speak what you want. Stop swallowing your teeth. Stop telling people half of what you want to make them comfortable. If you're going to go out of your way to make yourself uncomfortable and state your needs, you might as well just go whole hog and state the whole ass need instead of trying to make it smaller to make it more palatable. Because then again, honestly, a half-met need is more frustrating than an unmet one. So just level with people. Look, you might be high maintenance to them. I promise you're not high maintenance to somebody else. That's just how that works. You know, I have dated people who have thought I was way too much and way too much to handle. And then I have dated people who are like, what are you talking about? Like, you're no big deal. Like, and that's because everybody's different perspectives. Why am I wasting my time on someone who thinks I'm too much? When I could just find somebody who could actually hold it, you know? Like, so say what you want. If they're not giving it to you, that's the hard truth of the swords, babe. Every time the swords come out, we're gonna get a little spicy and we're gonna get a little hard truth with it, because that's just kind of how the swords works. It makes you face those really uncomfortable things. Again, when I have people go, can you make them talk to me? The swords is have you considered maybe he just don't want to? And that's okay. And that he doesn't have to. those are those uncomfortable, painful, icky truths that the swords can make us sit with sometimes. And nobody wants to have those conversations, but I mean, it has to. Like, you know, I have done spells for people to like heal relationships, and sometimes the only way to heal it is to separate. And I warn people, I tell them, and maybe it'll heal while you guys are together, but I'm doing this for both of you to heal. And sometimes a relationship has gone past that without, you know, and the only way to keep you guys together would be to like bind you against your will, and nobody wants that shit. So, you know, again, be really honest, even if it's uncomfortable. Now, when this card's in reverse, it's still, again, being really realistic. There is no, oh, this is an easy truth. Oh, this is a hard truth. That's not really how this card works. Sometimes they're both hard truths. Sometimes they're not. You know, either way, when it's in reverse, I find it can be a little tougher, because when it's in reverse, it's a little bit more telling you to be realistic. But they're still hard truths no matter which way the card is sitting. It's going to tell you to set smart goals, you know, realistic goals. You know, like I tell people when they do money spells, don't just ask for money, because then you're going to get $5 in your account and the spell worked, you know? And don't ask for $1 million if there's no way on this fucking planet that you're gonna win $1 million or earn $1 million. Let's be for real here. Now, if you do a money spell, and if you get real specific, like when I do money spells, I might put a certain amount of money that I want to make. You know, I might say, oh, this week I want to make $1,000, right? I don't know, whatever. That's what I'm going to pick. Or, oh, in this month, I want to make this much money. Or I'm going to make this much a year. Be specific and be realistic. Like, if I'm going to do a money spell, I'm going to look at what did my paycheck look like on the days when I'm really booked and I'm making a lot of money. What does that paycheck look like for me? Okay, times that by 2, so that's the whole month. And then, boom, that's what I want to make every month. Guess what that means, though? That means I'm going to be booked and busy, because that's the only way I'm making that money. So I got to be prepared for that spell to work and for me to have a lot of clients. So I got to be ready to work for that shit. So don't just like put it out there and then be like, oh God, what's happening? Like, you're going to be ready to work for it. Also, when this card is in reverse, it can show clouded judgment or taking things at face value. You probably need more information if I have pulled this card. It is really important that you get more information and that you fact check that information and that you make sure that it's the damn truth. But that's going to be it for today. We made our way through the aces. We will make our way into the twos next Saturday. Yeah, I'm here next Saturday. Am I? Might be off next Saturday. Whatever that is. I will see you guys next week. Whatever that looks like. But thank you guys so much for swinging by. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Stay cool. It is hot out. And I'll be seeing y'all later. Thanks so much for swinging by.